Good morning, Freedom Village. I'm Noah.
And I'm Ashley.
And welcome to your favorite morning show where we bring you all the latest news and updates from our wonderful retirement community right here in beautiful Holland, Michigan.
That's right, Noah. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee in the bistro or enjoying the newspaper in the atrium, we're here to kickstart your week with a smile and a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely, Ashley. And speaking of fun, we've got a jam-packed episode lined up for you today. From community events and activities to heartwarming stories and maybe even a few surprises along the way.
And of course, we'll be keeping you up to date with all the important news and announcements from right here at Freedom Village.
So, grab your cup of joe, settle in, and get ready to start your week the Freedom Village way.
Stick around, folks. The Monday morning show starts right now.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am really good.
How has your Memorial weekend been?
I've been having a great weekend. It was my father-in-law's birthday yesterday, so we celebrated and had a pool party, and then we took family pictures after, and it was just great.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
It has beautiful weather for a pool party.
Weather.
Lovely.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was really good. I hung out with family and friends. I went to see the lanterns at the John Ball Zoo, which was so fabulous. It was great. And yeah, it was a wonderful weekend.
Well, that is great. Well, it's a long weekend for some of us due to Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
Memorial Day conjures images of hamburgers, hot dogs, and swimming pools, and summertime for many Americans. But the last Monday in May serves, most importantly, as a time to honor those who died while fighting in the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a holiday steeped in somber American history and tradition. The day actually began as Decoration Day following the Civil War, when mourners placed flowers on the graves of Union and Confederate soldiers. Yes, Memorial Day has also come to signify the unofficial start of summer, but let's remember the heroes who made it all possible.
In every generation, they stand. In every generation, they serve. In every generation, they sacrifice. For 2.5 centuries, on land, sea, and in the air, they fought and died for an idea bigger than themselves. They are the Americans of every race and faith who swear a sacred oath of honor and live it to the last. And when that moment comes, they lay down their lives for the country they love, protecting their comrades, their families, and their nation. They are the bold angels now, examples to us all. On this day, let us honor their sacrifice and call upon ourselves to walk in their footsteps boldly, for they have led the way to the America we must be.
It is always good to have that reminder, Ashley. Let's get into our week here at Freedom Village.
Let's do it. Starting tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., the Village artists are heading downtown Holland to create. The bus will drop off and pick up at the police station, but you can wander as near or far as you'd like. And that area of downtown is the newest upgrade and should offer some interesting focal points. Please sign up in Touchtown to join us. And at 11 a.m., we are going out to lunch to Olive Garden. If you're looking for a delicious Italian meal and a great family atmosphere, look no further than Olive Garden. Whether you're looking for freshly baked breadsticks or perfectly made pasta, Olive Garden has something for any appetite. And at 3 p.m., Join us in the auditorium for our This Is Your Life social.
We're getting a little bit of everything today.
We are.
We've got Italian for lunch, and then
Dutch for This Is Your Life. We're celebrating a taste of Dutch, and we're going to meet some of our new residents.
wonderful. I love our This Is Your Life parties.
It's so
They're
fun
so
to meet
fun.
the new people.
It really is. On Wednesday at 10 a.m., we are going to the ball game. We are going to enjoy Whitecap Senior Days, where we'll get to sit in the Pepsi Stadium Club, enjoy some bingo, eat a classic stadium-style lunch, hot dogs and baseball. You really can't beat it. And following that, you'll get to spend the afternoon watching America's favorite pastime. The West Michigan Whitecaps will be facing off against the Great Lake Loons during this game.
Great Lake Loons.
Great Lake Loons. The cost is $30 if you are interested in going. There are a few more spots, so sign up on Touchdown. At 2 p.m. in the atrium, John Bryson is putting on a special hymn sing version of Musical Reminiscing. So you might have voted for some of your favorite hymns, and you can go down and see if they're some of the ones that everyone thought were the best, and enjoy some hymns.
On Thursday afternoon, we have cardio drumming at 3 o'clock in the gym, and that is on a special day this week because there is no cardio drumming today.
There's not.
And at 7:15 p.m., the Reactors of Evergreen Commons will be joining us. The Reactors are a theater company who enjoy performing in a reader's theater format, mostly because they don't have to memorize their scripts.
That's way better.
Much better. The actors enjoy telling stories, using facial expressions, voice inflections, and gestures that engage and entertain their audiences. They like to perform humorous skits that encourage laughter. This is their 16th season
Wow.
of entertaining in a variety of venues. They are truly looking forward to performing for the residents here at Freedom Village.
They told me that Freedom Village is one of their favorite places to perform.
And why wouldn't it be?
I don't know that we can tell anyone else that, but that's what we know. That's the secret. On Friday morning at 9 a.m., we have our weekly bike ride, Folks on Spokes. So we'll meet at the front door and go on a wonderful bike ride. At 10 a.m., meeting of the Mugs will be in the auditorium.
Good morning. Good way to start our
Good morning.
weekend.
Great Friday. Yeah.
And then we're going to start our Saturday the best way we know how.
The only way we know how.
The only way.
The only way.
Pancake breakfast in the bistro from 7:45 to 9. And then we will end our weekend on Sunday with a 4 o'clock Vespers service in the auditorium.
Well, that truly sounds like another great week at the Village.
It really does.
It really does.
Well, this week we are excited to share with you another Monday Morning Show documentary.
Ooh.
This one is about Jerry VanWyngarden, so please enjoy.
Behind a podium, whether as president of HASP or lecturing on some aspect of geography, that's where most residents have seen Jerry. He has come a long way from a farm near Peoria, Iowa, where he was the youngest of 6 children. Unlike the chores of the older children, one of Jerry's jobs in 1st grade was to take a neighbor girl to school. And to make that easier, his parents bought a cart.
The school is 3.5 miles away, and that was fine for me, except there was a neighbor girl that needed to go to school also, and we found out that she could ride nicely on that cart. Well, I would pick her up and off to school we would go. Sometimes it was much more convenient to not hitch up the cart, because somebody would have to do that for me. And I'd have to pick up the neighbor girl about 1/4 mile from my house, and we would be riding bareback. So, no saddles at that point. We never did have saddles. And so she was placed behind me with her arms around me. This was extremely difficult for me, being not really a girl lover. And as I could here I have this little girl sitting behind me, this little snot-nosed girl. And I find out, though, that when she gets to be an adult, she is a nice lady. When I was of age, sort of the age of puberty, each one of my brothers had a chance to go to Chicago with their load of cattle. This had been a family thing for many years. Long before I was born, my dad would take a small group of cattle, drive them the 7 miles to the railhead, and put them on the train, and then he would get into the caboose. He would travel the 300 miles to the stockyards. Well, when it was my turn, we had about 100 steers that were ready for market. And it took 4 straight trucks, no semis at that point, to carry them all to the Chicago stockyards. And when we got to the stockyards, the cattle already were sold before they even were put off the truck. My father had the reputation on the kind of steers and meat that would come from these cattle. It was my big shock to see all these pens in the stockyard, because there were at least 1,000 cattle in these pens. And around the pens were the slaughterhouses. And if I can remember the names of them, like Swift and Cudahy and Armour and so forth, these were the packing houses for the slaughterhouses. Then, once we got to Chicago, it was nighttime, and didn't see the cattle anymore because we went into the building called the Livestock Exchange, which had a second floor. This was a big second floor because there were about 50 people, 40, 50 people in there on cots. So we each got a cot, my dad and myself, and slept there over the night with the appropriate loud snores and whatever, because it was full of truckers and farmers. Next morning, to my surprise, we went down to the lower level of the stock exchange, and there was a cafeteria, which was totally new to me, and did we have a delicious breakfast.
Jerry loved school and softball. His pitching ability came in handy after he was drafted in the Army.
Electricity was available for us the first time. Well, my older brothers found a nice level spot on our farm, and then actually it was on the neighbor's farm. They found that was a nicer spot and leveled it out nicely, and we made our own diamond. And as a consequence, we took the neighbors in, my brothers, and then brothers-in-laws and cousins and so forth, and we had a team. All right, put up electrical lights, and we had a ball field. And this ball field then allowed us to play at night, and of course the lights could be seen from quite a long ways away because we were on the upper area, and as a consequence we played all the areas teams around.
They had singing too.
The teams that were from little towns and so forth, and we weren't a town, we were just out in the field. Well, that's fine. I was learned how to be a pitcher, and as a consequence we did really quite well with all the other teams. I got drafted into the Army, and we were at Camp Roberts, California, and the war in Korea had just ended, and so my unit didn't have to go to Korea. So then, all right, let's close up the camp, and what do you do with the soldiers and so forth? So we played ball. And as a consequence, that worked out very well. Won our camp tournament, and then went to the Presidio in California. Presidio is the camp just below the San Francisco Bridge. So then we weren't too terribly enthused about winning that, because if we'd lost, then we could have the time off. And we lost. Well, we lost. I keep blaming it because we had to play in the mist, and then the fog was there all the time in Presidio.
His love of learning and school resulted in his being a teacher, a principal, and school superintendent. He is particularly satisfied with initiating pre-kindergarten programs.
I was appointed the principal of a Jenison Elementary School, and I was there for 2 years. After the first year, I received a number of parents that were parents of the kindergartners who were having difficulty because their children weren't doing as they should be doing. And one of the key components of that is that if you are a boy, more than likely you don't mature as fast as girls. So oftentimes, even though the age of 5 in December was the illegal time to come to be in kindergarten, they were not, some of them were just not ready. And so this bothered the parents quite a bit. Can there be something done about this? So I looked into it a little bit from the various districts around to see if they had any answer to that question. I think it was Muskegon that decided they would have a pre-first after kindergarten. Well, let's try something this summer. And so during this summer, I invited the before kindergarten, we called it pre-K or pre-kindergarten, and had a session during the summer. That was so well taken that they decided that let us then do it every year. So 2 excellent kindergarten teachers, very good. Wrote the script and everything. All I had to do was get the setting ready, which I did. I got the amount of money necessary from the state to make sure that we had something, and as a consequence, pre-kindergarten was started in Jenison. Then the next year, however, I was appointed the superintendent at Hamilton, and we talked to the elementary principal there, and in fact, I had just chosen the new principal for that school, and said, okay, now we've got a problem with kids that are just not old enough or mature enough to go into kindergarten. So let's call it pre-K. And as a consequence, these two kindergarten teachers did a tremendous job of setting up the entire curriculum for that. And as a consequence, pre-K has been a standard in Jenison for all these years. This is in 1970, by the way. And then when I became the superintendent in Hamilton, this principal carried it on for me. Well, he was in Hamilton for a few years and then became a principal in the Holland system. And as a consequence, the Holland public school system adopted the same pre-kindergarten process.
Geography kept calling. It was a siren call. Ever since he was recruited on an emergency basis to teach a geography class at Calvin University, Jerry was lured back to the world of people and places, eventually connecting as a faculty member at Hope.
I would say the entire world has very interesting things to teach about, and whether it happens to be the caves lines in Vietnam or the Japanese traditions or the super fast trains in China, there's all kinds of things that are interesting around the world. I can't say that there isn't any place I wouldn't go. I enjoyed every place that I had a chance to go, even though I would talk about places that I had not been there. Geography was more fun to teach than being an administrator, insofar as that I missed kids. And so after being superintendent for a while, I went back to teaching fourth grade for a little while. As a consequence, I taught at after school. I was contacted by Muskegon Community School to do that. And so I wound up then doing that for several semesters, 6, 7 semesters, I think. And then I was contacted by Hope College, and so I started teaching there after I retired. I just thought it was interesting, so once I got started with that then I got called from Davenport University and taught there several semesters, downtown Grand Rapids and also here in Holland.
And you loved it.
And oh yes. Then Grand Valley called me, and I did teach on their regular campus. It was downtown Grand Rapids and also the one that they have here by Myers.
A very full life with Betty at his side, educator, husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Jerry VanWyngarden, take a bow.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for sharing with us. We really appreciate it.
And with that, I think that's a wrap for this Monday.
I feel like we're just getting started, Ashley. It's already time to be done.
It's time to be done.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you again for tuning in and sharing your Monday with us. Until next week, that's Ashley.
That's Noah.
And this has been Monday Morning. Bye.